Hello. The Companies Act 1956. You may recollect to understand easily the alterations of the Memorandum of Association. We classified we classify to understand easily the alterations of Memorandum of Association into three categories. 1. Alteration to the objects of the memorandum. 2. Alteration to the address of registered office. 3. Alteration in the name of a company. Earlier, we covered the alterations to the objects of the company. How to do it? To alter the, again, to understand easily how to alter further alteration to the Memorandum of Association, let us revisit how to alter the objects of the memorandum. Subsection 1 of section 17 says, a company may by special resolution alter the provisions of its memorandum so far as to change the place of its registered office from one state to another. Underline, to change the place of its registered office from one state to another, or alter the provisions of its memorandum with respect to the objects of the company so far as may be required to enable it to carry on its business more economically or more efficiently, or to attain its main purpose by new or improved means, to enlarge or change the local areas of its operations, to carry on some business which, under existing circumstances, may conveniently or advantageously be combined with the business of the company, to restrict or abandon any of the objects specified in the memorandum, or to sell or dispose of the whole or any part of the undertaking or of any of the undertakings of the company, or to amalgamate with any other company or body of persons. In above situations, a company may be in a need to change the objects of its memorandum. So, to reach to carry on its business more economically or more efficiently, or further other actions to be taken by the company, it may be in need of alterations to alter the memorandum of association. The objects are required to get altered. We were not covering how to alter the change of the place of its registered office from one state to another. Now this expression we are going to focus. So what should we need? How to proceed? So as to change the place of its registered office from one state to another. Let us understand. Subsection 1 of section 17 says a company may by special resolution alter the provisions of its memorandum so as to change the place of its registered office from one state to another. Underline, from one state to another. Our attention, again, I am requesting you to recollect. Our focus today is to understand about what steps we need to take to alter the memorandum so as to change the place of its registered office from one state to another. Repeat. Subsection 1 of section 17 says a company may, by special resolution, alter the provisions of its memorandum so as to change the place of its registered office from one state to another. Let us go to subsection 2 of section 17. Subsection 2 of section 17 of the Companies Act 1956 says, the alteration of the provisions of memorandum relating to the change of the place of its registered office from one state to another shall not take effect unless it is confirmed by the central government on petition. So, if at all we need to change the address of our registered office from one state to another, first we need to have special resolution regarding it. Second, we need to get confirmation by central government. That is what subsection 2 of section 17 of the Companies Act 1956 says. That is repeated. The alteration of the provisions of memorandum relating to the change of the place of its registered office from one state to another shall not take effect unless it is confirmed by the central government on petition. So, the alteration may take effect if we get the confirmation from the central government to the effect of what? To the effect of the change in the address of the registered office from one state to another. So before it, the company needs to petition to the central government to get the confirmation. Third point, subsection 3 of section 17 of the Companies Act 1956. Before confirming the alteration, see, the central government is not going to issue confirmation just like that. Subsection 3 of section 17 again, let us recollect. Before confirming the alteration, the central government must be satisfied. The central government must be satisfied that sufficient notice has been given to every holder of the debentures of the company. First, that sufficient notice has been given to every holder of the debentures of the company. Second, that sufficient notice has been given to the every other person or class of persons whose interests will be affected by the alteration. This is what it says in the opinion of the central government. Before confirming the alteration, the central government must be satisfied that sufficient notice has been given to following three categories, like the sufficient notice has been given to every holder of the debentures of the company. This is first point. Second, sufficient notice has been given to every other person. Third point, the sufficient notice has been given to every class of persons whose interest will, in the opinion of the central government, be affected by the alteration. So, in the opinion of the central government, if someone's interest is going to affect by the change in the address of the registered office, the central government wants to ensure it that sufficient notice has been given to the persons concerned whose interests are going to get affected. Let us go to another point in subsection 3 of section 17 of the Companies Act 1956, that it says that with respect to every creditor, see, again it is also going to approach every creditor who, in the opinion of the central government, is entitled to object to the alteration. Alteration of what? Alteration of the address of the registered office from one state to another. Again, I am reminding all of us that with respect to every creditor who, in the opinion of the central government, is entitled to object to the alteration and who signifies his objection in the manner directed by the central government, either his consent to the alteration has been obtained, or his debt or claim has been discharged, or has been determined, or has been secured, provided that the central government may, in the case of any person or class of persons for special reasons, dispense with the notice required by clause A. So from subsection 3 of section 17, we are able to understand sufficient notice is required to be given to the debentures of the company, to every other person or every class of persons and creditors whose interest may be affected. That is what we realize from subsection 3 of section 17. Let us go to subsection 4 of section 17. The central government shall cause notice of the petition for confirmation of the alteration to be served on the registrar. See, it is also approaching. The central government is also approaching the registrar who is concerned. Let us read it. Subsection 4 of section 17. The central government shall cause notice of the petition for confirmation of the alteration to be served on the registrar, who shall also be given a reasonable opportunity of appearing before the central government and state his objections and suggestions, if any, with respect to the confirmation of the alteration as well as the change of the registered office is concerned. So the registrar is also enabled to express his objections before the central government issues its confirmation to effect the alteration in the address of the registered office. Again, read it. The central government may make an order confirming the alteration on such terms and conditions, if any, as it thinks fit. How? As it thinks fit, and may make such order as to cause as it thinks proper. Subsection 6 of section 17 says, the central government shall, in exercising its powers under this section, have regard to the rights and interests of the members of the company and the rights and interests of every class of them, as well as to the rights and interests of the creditors of the company and of every class of them. That is what we realize in subsection 3 and subsection 4 of the section 17 of the Companies Act 1956. Again, it is bringing back to our notice in subsection 6 of section 17 that the central government shall, in exercising its powers under this section, have regard to the rights and interests of the members of the company and of every class of them, as well as to the rights and interests of the creditors of the company and of every class of them. And now let us move to subsection 7 of section 17. The central government may, if it thinks fit, the central government may adjourn the proceedings in order that an arrangement may be made to the satisfaction of the central government for the purchase of interest of dissentient members, and may give such directions and make such orders as it thinks fit for facilitating or carrying into effect any such arrangement, provided that no part of the capital of the company may be expended for any such purchase. So, 7 subsections in of section 17 of the Companies Act 1956 enable us to understand what do we need to alter the objects of the company, and second, to alter the address of the registered office from one state to another. Again, underline, from one state to another. So here, section 17 enables us to understand that we need special resolution. We need special resolution before altering the objects of the company. Second, we need special resolution and also confirmation by central government to alter the address of the registered office from one state to another, underlined, from one state to another. This is what section 17 helps us to understand.